Why I left school counseling. This is such a big question. And before I share why I left, I just want to put out there that I wrote a whole blog post sharing why I left school counseling. And in that blog post, I go into great details into what happened into my school counseling journey and why I left. I also recorded myself reading the blog post. So if you prefer to listen, that is there for you as well. And you can find this blog post in the link in my bio. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to briefly talk about like why I left. The first reason that I left was because I no longer wanted to deal with challenging student behavior. And I know when kids act up, it's never personal. It's always a reflection of the fact that they don't have the skills and language to express and cope properly, and they're going through a lot of personal problems. And I know that it was never personal, but for me, it still affected me. And eventually, I realized that dealing with challenging student behavior is something that I didn't want to do long term. The other reason why I left is because the role of the school counselor is highly, highly misunderstood, and this showed up in the responsibilities that I was given with teaching, proctoring, covering classes, doing the high school articulation process, reviewing transcripts, program changes, and it just was really frustrating to see how the things that I was being assigned had nothing to do with the training that I got. And not only that, but the role is really misunderstood because a lot of people think that school counselors are academic counselors. And when people don't understand your role, it makes it really hard to do your job, right? So I was really just fed up with the misunderstanding of the role. And the other reason why I left was because of poor and ineffective leadership. At the last school that I was at, unfortunately, I became aware that the school was being ran by a principal that for me was ineffective. And in my blog post, I talk about what happened, not in too much details, but it revealed a lot to me. And it made me realize, like, if I'm going to work for anything or anyone, I want school leaders or leaders in general that lead with a rational mind and a decent heart. And I know that not every school has horrible principals. I know that there's amazing schools out there. But for me, eventually I came to the point as a whole in my school counseling journey that I got tired of experiencing the same challenges over and over, because that's what happened. Every school that I ended up working for, I encountered something that I did not like. And I was often feeling very frustrated and disappointed and to the point of tears. So I knew this was it, because if I kept applying to another school counseling job, I knew that I would just encounter something similar, and I just didn't want to put up with any of it anymore. So those are my reasons why I left school counseling. If you want to read more about my journey, I invite you to check out the blog post in the link in my bio.